Okay, I'm audible properly. I'm audible properly. Okay, thank you. So this is an application which is this means client has already an ongoing application. Previously, let's say this is mainly for a government office. Okay, when any they have a unique system. Not this is not for India. Let's say for some other country. Okay, for whatever the government department they have, whenever any new employee joins the government department, he has to fill a form. Okay, currently they are doing it as a PDF. Means they distribute some papers, means forms printed out, and candidate on their first joining day, they fill everything whatever they can, they submit it. And then employees, like whatever the particular government employees are there, they will read that manual form and fill that in an Excel sheet. So like that, it is happening currently. Candidate will fill all the form, various, because so many fields are there. See, this is some basic information, blood group department, IFS bank detail. Then we have contact detail, family members multiple, qualification, experiences, old experiences, additional info, like what employment application form submitted, certificates, contract, joining report. So many things are there. Then salary and payroll related. Okay, and then statutory, again some PF and everything, like whatever we have, those details are gratuity, ESI, so many things are there. Now this is a huge form. So currently one of my developer, he has created it. So what he has done, prime engine stepper he has used. So you can see 5 steps we have. So these 5 steps you can see over here. And at every step, I can load the particular data, because there is no need to show all the form in a single page. It will be very difficult to for user to use this application, because this application now employees are going to use directly. So instead of manually filling the form, they are going to use this application to provide whatever the details they know, so that at least the employee, the department employee who is onboarding them, at least they will, some work will reduce, right? And we, instead of maintaining that data Excel and then they print it out and then they stock it, so we will have a digital copy of everything. What anytime they need it, they will able to extract the data from our application. Okay, so it was a huge form, so we divided it into a step. Now what we are going to discuss is like, so he has created reactive form. Let me show you the reactive form. So he has created a reactive form. Inside that personal info, a nested form is there. So some information he has created over here. Then we have contact family. So contact family was array. So that's why it is an array. No, sorry, contact family is a single only. Where is the array? So these are all nested form, single information. Then after that, somewhere array will be there. Let me search personal form, personal info. Where is personal info? No, form array. Employee family member. Okay, so here you can see in contact family object, we have employee family member and it will be an array, means multiple dynamic elements will be having, just like experience. So whatever the UI you are seeing, multiple information is single, just the multiple data is employee can have a multiple experience, and he will have to add his family dependent, like what are the dependent members he has in family, mother, father, brother, sister, whatever, who was not married, it means currently in that family. So that's detail. So family detail and the job experience is going to be multiple, remaining information is single. Fine. Now let me show you the object. So employee onboarding, this is the post API. Let me minimize this little bit. So now you can see this is the object what we need to send to the post API. Okay. So this is single information, single information. Then, so here you can see employee family array. We need to pass an array of multiple family member. And just like that experience also, it is going to be an array of old experiences, whatever the experience he has. Okay. Now, so this is the API. Now what he has done currently, he has created reactive form. Okay. And then he has created multiple form group also over here. You can see, but now while designing, he forgot to add the validation div over here. Okay. Now, if I have to add the validation div, it's very frustrating and it will be very lengthy thing, right? Because everywhere I need to copy paste and again change the form controller name. What I mean is, how do we do the validation? Let's do one thing, then you will be able to understand what I'm explaining. Let's say we have this input type text box for other number. Okay. So after this, we will have a div with class. Why it is coming like this? Input type. After this dot text hyphen danger. Now inside this, we will have multiple span. Let's say this is for required. Okay. So here we will have this is required. Second will be, let's say this particular text box is for Aadhaar card. So obviously it is going to have a pattern. So Aadhaar card not valid. This is the second message. Then what we do to again on this particular element, we add, let's say star ng if we will have for, we need to show the validation, right? So our form dot in personal info form only we have it now. Yeah. So personal info form control dot controls square bracket single quote our control name dot touch property we add first and dirty also, right? So this if statement will be there, considering you already know these things. Okay. Now on this span, so star ng if equal to personal info dot control this, then errors, then required. Okay. Object is possibly null. So question mark, then we added it now. Not here. Dot. Okay. So this is if statement for required. If this particular control has an error required, then this span will be visible. Just like that over here, we will need pattern. Okay. Now just like this, if I have to, he has not added the validation, right? On just text box we have. So if I have to show the validation, obviously we need to show the validation. So I need to copy this. Sorry. So what I will do, I will copy this and paste it everywhere. Then I need to change the control name also. Again, I need to see like what validation I have, right? Because this was a field for Aadhaar card. So we had a pattern, right? Let's say it's a name. So for name text box, we don't have a pattern or something, just required or some min length might be there. For every control, we might have different validation also. So it is very tedious task to do me, right? Because I have to copy paste again whole thing I tonight. Again, if there are some changes, let's say this is the first version I'm going to work. Once I release it, they will start the testing again. So many changes are going to come again. If they said some changes like no, we don't need this field over, again we need this field over here. If they thought like we need some another field, so it is again like UI change will be also, component.ts change will be also there, validation level changes will be also there. So many testing will also be required, right? Because so much of code, every file we are going to change. Now, this is what my, what do we say, problem statement. Yeah, I can do it, but it is going to take some time and it is going to take some time for testing also. If something error is there, it will be very hard to rectify it also, right? Again, one more thing in our HTML, see the line of code we have around 1300 line of code we have because we have static HTML. Getting it? So this is my problem statement. Now, instead of doing this every hard code, I wanted to make it dynamic. Okay. Now, those who are already experienced only and those who have worked in this kind of scenario, those who can unmute and speak up. Okay. Those who are pressured, just listen what they will say. Okay. You can unmute now. So how do we make this dynamic? Everyone understood the problem, what currently my problem is. Now, instead of having this, I need to make it everything dynamic so that I will have a less code and it will be easy to manage. Hmm.
Can you
One by one,
explain
okay?
the question? I was away.
Karan, it's a big question. Okay. Anyone else understood the question? What my problem statement is and what we should do? Working guys, you can unmute.
Yeah, so I think for like common validation, we can put like we have a required validation or some other validation that's are going to be used multiple times.
Mhm.
So we can put those validation in a constant file and we can use to utilize from there.
Okay, that is just messages, right? But
Mhm.
still, my problem is, see how many controls I have, right? Every control I need to copy paste that div and I need to change the control name and everything. Correct? This is
Yes.
repeated. Now see, let's assume this div and this div. It's repeating. What is common over here? This is, let's say, just observe these three div. These are nothing but our three input element. This is repeated, or we can make it in a dynamic way. This
Yeah.
is
So
repeated.
So we can make a common component of control,
That is one way.
uh,
Again,
we can create dynamic
and
component.
maybe within the component we can use ng template, or there was a one thing we can use.
ng
If there is
first
a repeated
we
code
can
in the
use.
component, then we can use ng template.
no. Anyone else want to try? Yeah, Rana. How we should approach this?
Sir, in my last company, they created a specific if it's
Reusable
a
control
input
component.
element,
Reusable form
we
component.
created a common component for that.
Yeah, reusable form component. No.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else thinking of something? What else we can do, or how we can do it?
We can create an array of like let's say
What?
like nestlability, caste, and region. We can create an array, a loop over using SNG
Correct.
container. We can like the similar code. We can loop through and put the values like the label we get from there, and similarly like phone control name is similar kind of. So we can use
Okay.
that method also.
This is the answer I was expecting. See, this is repeated code. Okay. If we see carefully, this 3 div, what is changing? Label and our form controller name. Correct. Remaining structure is same. See, remaining structure is same. So now understand the form. So we have this form. So what we can do, if we check the API, so this is our whole form. Okay. Now the what do we say? The static field means the parent field. This, so many fields are there. So what we can do, we can create a separate form up till over here, a single form, right? All the controls are on the parent level only. Then we will create two more for the employee family, because this is like multiple, right? So just forget about this for now. So for all these properties which are single, we will create an JSON containing like what is the control name, what should be the label, what min length, is it required, validation also, everything. Getting it? See what I'm talking. Let's
But
say
then
we
we
have,
have to use the mapper kind of stuff in the TS file, right?
no. Just a for loop, na normal. Why mapper?
But
Normal for
in
loop, na.
that
We are creating
form
array of.
group, there are some properties of form array.
Hmm. Where do we use map in HTML when we are working with reactive form? We don't use map anywhere, right? See, whatever the we are trying to create a JSON of what fields I have, and then we will create an array of that object and we will iterate on the HTML. So instead of manually having this all HTML code, this will go into my for loop. This will be dynamic and this will be dynamic. Getting it? So I don't have this long HTML piece of code. A single for loop will be there. Everyone is able
Okay.
to relate what my thought process is going on.
But
Yeah, even we can
so
mention
some of
the
the
type also,
properties
right?
are just
Like the type is like input type is text, or if it is a
Right.
drop down, we
Right.
can make
So
it
that
that one
also
also
we
as a
can
JSON, right?
manage. Yeah, that's the benefit of JSON. Na? We will have input type also. Like some property can be checkbox, some can be drop down, some can be text box also. So we need to have everything dynamic,
Yeah.
not just label, not just this. This also will be dynamic. Placeholder will also be
Right.
dynamic. Correct?
Yes.
Getting it now? So we will create a JSON where we will have all these things and we will iterate on that array and everything we will make it dynamic. Now everyone is able to relate. Okay.
Yes.
So now I'm not going to do it myself. I will be using ChatGPT because I don't have time
So
and yeah, Karan.
okay, you will create a object, but
Hmm.
how you will update the initial form group values from your created object?
See, we have an object over here. This is going to be stay as it is. Okay. This is not going to change.
Yes.
What we are focusing on HTML part. Instead of having this hard code, we want to make this thing dynamic. Forget
Okay.
about HTML, this form. Forget about it. I just want this piece of HTML code instead of static. I want it dynamic. So how we can do that?
Correct, with creating object the way you said.
Right? So that's our focus. Okay. Then next part will be like how once you update, because you have your what do we say, form into inside the form group. So once I change the text box value, how it is going to update in my form? That's what that was your question.
Yes.
Yeah. So we are going to bind this form control, na? In our whatever the JSON we are going to create, there we are going to say our control name that we are going to bind it over here. So once you change, that text box value will get updated to your form in that particular control. Whatever
Okay,
you
okay,
see over
got
here,
it.
we are just going to make this dynamic. Currently, everything is static, including form control names, placeholders, everything. Understood?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
In TypeScript file, we have to change anything,
Or
or it should be in TypeScript file.
we will create a normal array, na?
Can we do? Can we create that form group also as a dynamic? Or is it possible?
That also we can do, right? That also we can do. Okay.
Even that one also we have to just iterate it, and then we have to mention that validation also, right? For each
But
field.
how again for that you need to create one more JSON, because if you need this also dynamic, na, somewhat it will be very difficult to handle then. Because sometimes
Mhm.
let's say your whole form is going to be dynamic. Let's say you need to write code on religion changes. On once the religion change, you need to write some specific code. So if you have your form group also dynamic, so again it will be very difficult to handle. We can manage, but again your code will get complex. Getting it?
Okay. Even particular field we can't able to handle if it is dynamic that side also,
We can
right?
handle everything we can do, but it will be complex
But
to manage that.
okay.
So that's why we form create like that. Either you keep it in a component or in a
Mhm.
service, but form we have to keep it like the
Mhm.
basic one. Okay,
Understood.
fine. Now we will take a help of ChatGPT because writing this like it will take so much time. So now how what prompt we will ask to the ChatGPT also? Can anyone try what we need to ask to the ChatGPT? Whatever we discussed, what we should ask to the ChatGPT?
I
Create
think
object which will have a key of form control, placeholder,
Mhm.
type, whatever the type, those
See,
keys has to be in the
now
object
we can
based
we
on
will
this form group.
okay.
Create a
Now
dynamic reactive form using the below field.
yeah. So see, whenever you are creating a prompt, you need to give a history also to the prompt, correct? Okay. So what we will do, we will just copy little bit of thing over here. We will paste it over here. Okay. We will say this is my object for post API. Okay. Now in Angular, I want to create a JSON array of object which contains this field name as control name, and that JSON should have, let's say, properties like placeholder, control name, and type, so that this JSON I can use in HTML template to iterate my form elements. Will it be sufficient, or we need, what else is remaining? Validation also we need to ask him, na? Type and validation. If we say just the validation, na, it will obviously create array also, because validation we can, it is by default multiple in reactive form. We mentioned, right, reactive form. In reactive form element. Okay. We need to provide the whole JSON, then only it will properly give us. Again, same thing we have to provide again. ChatGPT also has some whatever the minimum number of character we can pass now, that has some restrictions, so we cannot pass everything in a one go. Okay, let's start. So what we discussed, basically we are asking ChatGPT to create that. So see, control name, placeholder, we forgot label. Add label. What else we need normally? And see, what else we might be needing? We said placeholder, control name, validation, and the label. What else we might be needing? One thing is
type, input type.
Type also we said, no? Type also we said. What else we need? This column also, no? Class. Because if you don't have the class, again, like how you will manage, let's say for name and everything you need, for in first row, you just need name, first name, and this full name, first name, mobile number or something. And in next row, you just need two columns. So if you don't put your class name also over there, like in that particular, how many columns you need. So again, like it will be hard to manage, or your UI will be like one after another, some basic block, it will come, right? So I can pass the class name also. Okay. So add label also and class name as. Now again, see, we said like I need the class name. So again, we need to provide a history, like what kind of class name I'm going to use, as I am going to use Bootstrap grid. So I can pass call 2 or call 3 in class name. Okay. Let's see. So see, like this, input type text. Okay. Let me stop it now. If see, okay, he has already created it. I thought for drop down, we need the option also, because everything is dynamic. We said everything is going to be dynamic. So sometimes it can have a radio button also, sometimes it can have a drop down also. So if it is a drop down, what option you are going to show? Correct. So we need to have an option also in my JSON. Correct. So it has taken care of that. Actually, I thought like it won't take care. See, if it is input type select, we can pass the option also over here. Okay. It has taken a radio button also, it might take. Let's try. Now we can for select have options, and for radio also have options. And sometimes we have text area. In text area, let's say if an address you need 3 rows, let's say if something else, more information, you need rows as 5 or 6, that height of the text box we decided on the row. So that also I'm specifying. For text area have rows property. Okay, let's start. I think this will cover everything what we need. Now according to the object we send, see somewhere we have 0 now, so it will take it as a number. Let's see. It has not provided whole thing. Again, we need to modify our prompt. Use refer above JSON object and create for it. Anyone using ChatGPT is paid version? What's the experience of paid version? Anyone is using paid version?
No, no, sir.
No, sir.
It has not provided all the property. It has not created for everything. Let me copy paste again. This is my post.
Hi, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, you can use a cursor, sir. Directly, you can open the workspace.
Sorry. Come again.
Cursor AI is right. Cursor.
Cursor
You
AI.
you are using your ChatGPT, right?
Right.
So instead of that, you can download cursor.
Mhm.
Directly, you can open the workspace in the cursor, and you
Okay,
can.
inside extension,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
that is most efficient compared to ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So inside they are using a cloud, right? Cloud agent. That cloud agent will do high level.
Just like that, one more extension is there, a code lime or something is there. That also works the same. That I have used.
Yeah.
Code
Now,
lime or something is
now
there.
you're typing and copy paste into the
Right.
project,
So it
right?
will
So,
identify from the files only.
yeah, directly it will add the
Right.
files, this code.
We just need to specify like
Yes.
this
If
from
you
this file, this
if you
object.
have a Figma design, just screenshot the Figma design and paste it. No, then
Yeah.
automatically it will.
Correct. So in my company laptop, I don't have that access.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
So no, this is not my company laptop, but normally I use ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot only. So I have a
Okay.
hand on this only. It has created
Similarly, Windsurf is also there. Windsurf. Windsurf.
Windsurf.
Can you put those in the chat?
Wind.
Wind. Yeah. Wind. D. WIN. D for document.
Wind.
SU. S for Singapore. U for Windsurf.
Windsurf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Windsurf.
Code editor only. Okay.
Yeah.
Codium. So see, this I have used Codium.
Yes. This
Okay,
one.
so Windsurf is the name. Codium I have used. Yeah, I mean it is like you put the Figma design, it will create your reactive form, it will write you the basic API call, everything.
Yeah. You can directly open that your workspace, right?
Right. Because it has the knowledge of your workspace, what files you have, what services you have created. It will provide you everything.
Yes.
Yeah. But see, this is like why companies don't use it, because we have to provide the access of all the structure and all the files we have, right?
Yes. It will.
In case of Copilot, we don't have to provide it. It will just take a reference of open file, whatever the file you mentioned, na?
Yes,
It will
yes.
just take a reference of that. But this is like when we work on the industry project, this is like something your code is going to be shared with another platform, right? So
I don't think so, sir. In future, nobody is.
in future, it
Yeah, yeah.
might be. See, if you are working in a banking application, will you share your code to any AI tool?
Yeah, except banking. Other than that, we
Right.
can, for a small industrial, we can small
But in
scale.
small industry also, let's say in your code you have AWS key or
Yeah.
something is there.
Yes, sir.
You need to educate your users first, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Right. So that's why GitHub Copilot has that what do we say, license that they whatever the documentation they might be doing, right? They have that license that we won't be using that your code and everything. So that's why almost are using Copilot only,
Yeah, yes.
right?
Uh,
Okay.
One
So
advantage is they are providing enabling some privacy mode. So in that way you can disable like they won't be storing your code on the cloud. So that way you
in
can
Copilot, no?
in Cursor it is there. I'm not sure about the Copilot.
Copilot, we don't have it. They don't store whatever we write or whatever the prompt we do. They don't store anything.
Okay.
Don't know about the other tool, but Copilot has that standard because we were provided a proper training of that, what data they are gathering, how they are using our data, like what prompt we are asking. If you are working in a project, let's say in an earlier prompt, 2 days earlier, you said like in my application, I have two roles, user role and the guest role. And after let's say 4 or 5 days, if you try like based on role, I need to write some code. So it will remember like what roles your application has. And again,
Okay.
in what, because you can work on multiple projects. So it will understand the project name. So when the little information he will that tree, whatever that tree they will create. No? So based on the project name, it will align the prompt. So that basic things only it is allowed to store, not everything. So that it will suggest a basic prompt ready. Means if user is this, you can do this. If user is this, they can do this. So again, you don't have to debug and search like what roles you have. It will remember. Some things it is allowing. Okay. Fine. So this is the JSON. I think it has not created everything, but let's see. So this is the JSON. So what I will do, I will put it into my array. Form control array column. I'm just going with any, okay? Okay. So now we have our array. Like in my form, what things can be there? That whole thing I have it over here. Now again, the second prompt, we will ask it to ChatGPT only, okay? Now, so it has created a JSON for us. So now using above JSON, I need to create dynamic form dynamic.
My only advice will be there like don't like ask everything from the chat GPT.
It will take
Like
so much time.
yeah,
That's what I'm using.
start to do some your own. Let's say we have created the array, but of the template, but you should write the code on your own. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Here, let's start.
everything is working is fine, but when things start to mess up now, then it
Yeah,
will be
obviously.
very
See, for everything, if you are using the ChatGPT now, for let's say basic flow, it will work. Happy flow, obviously, it will work. But let's say again, if you have some modification or it now, it cannot go because while giving the prompt only, you need to specify all the scenarios and every possible combination. Let's say for blood
Yeah,
group.
yes, sir. I think in future, everything in AI only. Maximum people won't write the code. Now we
Because we
are
are going to get that habit.
for our compromise, we are using some manual code, some AI code. But in future, it's like work like a calculator, right? For 5 + 5 = 10, right? So
Yeah,
similarly,
that
90% we will use AI only.
but it has some disadvantage also. That vibe coding, if you might have seen LinkedIn, everyone is posting that the
I
vibe coding,
wanted to
right?
avoid that term.
So like 50 people, the work which was getting done by let's say 20% people, only 1 or 2 people can do it, and within 2 3 days also. But they will create a tech debt of 50 engineers also.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That is very true because see, if a new project is there, ChatGPT is very helpful. And if the project is very straightforward, I mean, you don't have any dynamic validation, very straightforward things are there. So ChatGPT or any AI tool is very helpful. But in the simple project also, once the project is completed, after that you need to some more scenarios or some dynamic things are going to come. Then it will be very difficult to debug that code because you didn't write that code. See, normal habit will be you will be providing the problem, you will copy paste. You won't give a time to understand that also. Obviously, you won't give that because ultimately in 2 days, 1 or 2 days, you need to complete your particular task. Why you will take time to understand that code? Na? Because you have next ticket waiting for you. That is the habit we are going to have. Then ultimately it is going to backfire us now. Right? So see one scenario what I found. So in blood group, we have this static array. But consider not everything is going to be static. Let's say this blood group data you are going to get from the API. Then again, you need to change your prompt, whatever the code you have written, right? So whenever you are asking something, you need to cover or you need to explain every possible scenarios that are going to come. And at the start of the development, you even don't know that. Even client also don't know that, right? So using this, obviously, we can just take a help, but if we are totally dependent on the AI tool, we are going to stuck, right? That's the tech dev every developer is now creating. Okay, let's see.
First of all, if you have any static details, actually, I mean, like in my past 10 years of experience, no one will store the static details in the front end application. Each and everyone will carry the static details from the database.
Correct. So that, see, now
That's the
keeping this
first thing.
static also, right? Yeah, no, obviously. Keeping this in HTML application, let's say you created your application, form is also ready, everything is working fine. Let's say client says, I need one more property. So again, you need to change your static JSON from your Angular code. Again, you need to build, again, you need to deploy. Again, testing will be involved. Again, test cases we need to write, right? So much of resources will be wasted. But let's say this data is, if this data is coming from the API, so what we need to do, your database team will just add one more, this object in is just DB and your form will be dynamic. You don't have to touch the UI build again.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
testing,
No, I
our
mean, like,
testing, our test case, everything will be reduced.
yeah. That's
Everywhere,
true.
this kind of data we get it from the API only.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone understood what point you mentioned? And the
Yes, sir.
disadvantage what we, right? So whatever the static type, even like validation, normally when we create the Angular project, we put our validation into our constant file. But in
And
actual
one more,
a big
and one more
application, that
thing,
yeah.
one more thing, can you go down to the form group that you have created? Yeah, these validations, none of them will, I mean, like, I haven't seen anyone creating these validations on the front end. They usually maintain in the database only.
Everything. See, that's
Yeah.
me. I also work in a company where when any sprint start na, API team will have tons of the work.
Yeah.
They are always busy. But UI team, they will always try to find, just give some tickets. Because our code structure is like that everything gets handled from the API side. So whenever
Yeah.
any new sprint is there, we for API team they have around 7 to 8 tickets, and for UI team just 1 or 2, and we have 5 developers. So we have, because we need to show something like we are working. Then again, like we have to discuss this sprint, you guys take this, next sprint we will take, because we have very less UI work. Our code structure is like that. A good architect won't keep any dependency on the UI.
Yeah.
It's not like they don't want UI team to have a dependency. It's because getting everything from the API is very handy. Very less human work will be required over there. Testing is reduced, right? So much build process and everything we have to do, that is reduced. So everything, whatever we do, normally put it into constant file now. In a big project, this is not followed in every project. Okay, this is followed where, let's say, applications are such like which are very data centric. So there everything will come from your API only. Some static information only you will store it into your constant. Let's say API endpoints or something. But normally everything will come from the API only. Okay. Yeah. I need to create a dynamic form using the array. Okay. Now it will identify like what things we have, and in each object like validation somewhere, if it is select, we have option. Okay. So it will provide us HTML code for it. What it has said, dynamic form, let's say we created, this is already we have created. Then after that, okay, we forgot to mention that, right? So form field, what is the form field? Our array. So it is iterating on that. Then validation array we are creating, validators dot required validator. Okay. So see what it is doing, whatever the array we created, like what elements I'm going to have, it is iterating on that. Then it has created a local array of validation. So if whatever the object we said, required and min length, okay. So what it will create, two validation it will create based on the check is also there. If it is required, pattern, min. So it is creating, it is providing that validation object over here. And this validation array, we are pushing into our form and specific control. See, dynamic form add control. We are creating a control over here, means by default, we won't be adding our control over here. So our by default control will be empty. And whatever the field you said, it will iterate on that because in your object, you have the control name, right? So whatever the field you have in your object, that first time for loop will iterate, and in your form group, see add control. We are adding one more controls into it. And control name will be like this, field dot control name and validation, right? So what we
Can you
did
share
over
this
here,
form group array, this form creation array?
which one?
This one,
This?
just no, below, top, below. Can you go down? Yeah, from the dynamic from form creation, from the above line to, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
it is creating dynamic control in your form along with the validation, whatever you say in your form array, means that static JSON. Okay. But for this now, let me create another component. I don't want to disturb this existing. Everyone is able to relate, right? I'm
Yes.
using ChatGPT for most of the things, but I'm explaining also. Generate component employee. Let's say new employee. So this is the array. I will put it into our component form list any. Okay, we are going to, we have to import reactive form module. Then our .ts code. So first we will create an object of our form group that will be undefined because at the time we don't know what how many controls we are going to have, right? On this form list we are going to iterate, and like that we are going to create control in this. Then we need implement on init, ng on init I'm implementing. Then this piece of code. Okay, it is using form builder. So let's use this. What is the difference between form group and form builder? Do we have any difference?
Yeah, form builder provide more less code, like how we create using new keyword. If you use form builder, then we can create easily form control. We can create easily.
But
like key,
there is,
key.
apart from syntax, do we have any performance or something difference?
Performance, I'm not sure, but syntax is easy to write.
Yeah, syntax is easy, but performance wise, I also try to find, but it's just like when we create a form using form builder is a, this is like Angular boilerplate code, means what it is inside when we create using form group. ultimately it is going to use this. So boilerplate code, that's the word only I got. But performances, I also didn't get anything. Okay. Now this code in ng on in it. Running form list. Validators import we will need. Form control also we will need. Okay. Now the HTML part. So we have created our form. By default, it is empty. Then we are iterating on the JSON array. We are checking like what validation we have. We are creating a validation array over here. And that validation we are pushing over here on this line. What we are doing in our form, we are adding new control with whatever the control name we have. See the form array loop. And we are initializing with the new control. By default value we are setting is empty. Again, see this value also we forgot. Whenever you work on a form, there might be some control which you need to initialize by default. So while giving the prompt, we didn't say anything like that. So see, over here you don't have it value. We need a value also over here. Let's say you are initializing your form and from this blood group, you need A plus by default selected, or whatever the majorly blood group everyone has, that needs to be by default selected. So we don't have the value tag, right? So now it will be hard for it. Again, we need to add a if check over here, and then we will set a value also. So that's what I said. When you are giving a prompt, you need to cover every possible scenario, whatever it is going to come. Because if in the first prompt, if you forgot to cover that, again, you are going to do unnecessary work. And so at some point of time, it will be very complex code to handle, because you won't remember like what approach he has taken in the first prompt. Then it will change, because every time your prompt is changing, it will change the solution also, right? So that's the disadvantage. Take a help, but whatever the limited help you can take, like that. Okay. Have guidance you can take. If you understand this code, like how it has done, then you can manually do it. In my mind, it was something else. Like earlier I discussed, like I don't know if anyone remember. I thought like I will be using this form. I won't be creating dynamic form. My form will be this. But in HTML, I will be using this existing form. But what ChatGPT said, instead of creating form, we will be using a dynamic form also. So we don't have that long piece of form in our HTML also, right? In my mind, I had that approach. Okay. Now, so this is my HTML code. Let's put it over here. Let me share it again. Okay. One more quick question. When we are working on reactive or the template, can we use ng submit on our template form? This ng submit event, can we use in template form? In template form?
I think we can use it.
Are you sure? Because I have not seen with the form. Let's try. Form tag. It's not coming. Okay. But let me show you over here. It is coming over here. Understood? Understood or no? So ng submit, this event is coming from this reactive form group directive.
Okay.
Okay.
There also for template driven form.
Because
we
you
import
enable
forms
your
module,
form
right?
with your form group.
You
enable your form with the form group, and the form group is from the reactive form.
right. So
That's
because
the
we have
reason it
added
is
this, no?
enabled.
It is
Yeah.
suggesting that, right? And whenever we work with reactive form, we normally go with input type submit, right? But if you are using, no, wait. In React template, we have something. Submit we have, no? Same thing, what we have in reactive, that is ng submit. Same thing we have it in template, that is submit only. Okay, because I wanted to explain this. Okay, so in template also we have it, but that is not ng submit, just the submit function. Now, if you are working with this form level submit function, your button type should be submit, correct or no? If button type is if your button type is button, will your function will execute if your function is on the form tag?
No.
Right? So when you say type submit, so your form will post. This is normal understanding from HTML. Whenever you have a form tag and inside that form you have a button and button type is submit. If you click, your form will post. This is normal HTML behavior. Okay. So if in our form we have button type submit, when you submit, it will in Angular, it will try to look for the, if it is reactive, it will try to find ng submit. And if it is template, it will try to find submit event and it will trigger that. But if you don't have it, it won't do anything. Then you have to go for input type button.
If we import that forms module library, then I think we can use it. So I use it ng submit with the template driven form also.
In template form, you are using ng submit.
Yes, yes.
What we need to do for that?
I think we are in the component, instead of reactive forms module, we can import forms module that
ng form. ng form.
No. In the imports array, line number 6.
ng form, no?
No. Line number 6, we used to import forms module, right? If you want to use template driven forms.
Okay, forms module.
Hmm.
Let's try.
So now I think it will detect.
Yeah, now it is detecting. Let's try it also. Button type submit template save. Let's see if it works or not. My concept will also get clear. Just like that. In the power to import. So we will import format module, so we don't have to individually import everything. What array name is form list. We need to render this into our app component. Icon, it's working. Templates here. Okay. And if we go with input type button, nothing is happening. Okay. So yeah, so ng submit, I think if I hover on this, okay. So if we import that forms module, it is checking that from ng form. And if we are using it on the reactive form, it is taking that from the reactive form. Okay. But submit is also there, no? Then let's see if this works.
Type should be submit.
Okay, type submit. So submit, because I was aware about this only. So both the thing work. And same in reactive form also. Submit. Let's try this.
I think
this is also working.
And yeah, if you use ng submit, I think we have some advantage.
So either you use ng submit or submit, but just like if you are using it on the template, this ng submit will come from that reactive form. Otherwise, it will come from the ng form. Okay. So see, for a reactive form, data type is form group. Just like for template form, we have ng form. Okay. ng form. Okay. So what data type we have for the reactive, that is the form group, something like that. In template, we have ng form. Where we normally use this ng form, we don't create a template form like this, right? But where do we use ng form? Anyone have used?
Template we bind form name with this ng.
Right? So when we create a form here, when we create template reference variable hash form, so here we bind ng form. Okay, so this is ng from that, because template, whatever it will have some data type, na? So template has the data type that is ng form. And when you on click of submit, if you are passing the form value like this, and if you need to validate this form into .ts also, so here also you do provide a data type like this ng form. Then we can use that form.invalidate just like we do in reactive form. Understood? Okay, let's move on to our thing first. Why our form is not loading? Why it's empty? This is why our form is empty. You forgot something to copy? Nothing, no? CSS only. ng on it, and we have the code in ng on it. So by default, my form will load also. Let's add a debugger. Let's check our form is initializing properly or not. Okay. So in dynamic form, it is undefined only. Why undefined? See, the code we copied from ChatGPT is not working. Let's debug it now. Let's reload. So form field, first field we got. Wait, for each. Why field got all the element?
The dynamic form itself is undefined.
We need to add form group in HTML.
No. See the issue first. Here, according to our code, what should happen? Whatever the array we have, it should iterate on that. And it should, in this our form, we should be able to add all the control, whatever it has. But by default, you can see after this code run, our control is some undefined only. In our control, we just have one control. And that is also with undefined name. We should have a multiple control, just like how we create. But it's not happening like that. Then I tried to debug. Let's reload. We have a for each loop. Inside a for each loop in field, you are getting all the 25 elements. Is it correct? In
Yep.
field, what we should get?
Only one element.
Only one element we should get, na?
Yeah.
But here we are getting all the elements. So if we are getting all the element, how this code will now?
Can you go down and check the field control name? What's the field control name?
Which one?
No. Go down. Field control name.
See, if I'm going down,
I think
also
it's
it
the
is
label.
showing array also. Array only.
It's a label. It's the label, not the field control name. Go down.
No. What do you have in field? You are inside the for loop, correct? See, you are on the.
It should
you are
be
inside
one
the for
object at a single time.
loop. In field, you should get a single object, na, but it is getting all the array. This is my question. Understood?
Sir, can you check the structure of the object we created?
See the structure. Understood?
Yeah.
Copied, na?
Yeah,
See,
correct.
our structure is something messy.
Yes.
While writing, I created array and inside that I pasted, right?
So you have to remove the extra
element,
array.
right?
Yes.
That's why we had a structure like that. So it was not ChatGPT mistake, it was our mistake.
Yes.
Let's save. Now our form is there, right? Let's try to put some value. Say it is coming pop-up drop down also. Radio button also. Do we have checkbox? Checkbox also. Okay. Present
Sir, can you
address.
provide this code?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
One more thing, when we work on an actual application, it's the language known. Now we know like this is a text box, but when your application UI is very proper and they want a very standard experience, what do we use over here in this text box? When your application is very UI centric, what do we use inside this text box? Do we do normally like this?
Drop down.
Drop down.
No. UI centric. Don't consider like it's a normal application. Your application is very UI focused. Everything needs to be very standard.
Auto complete.
No. See, languages, how many languages one person can know? Na? Max
The
3.
radio buttons.
Not radio button also.
So
You might have used it also.
Checkbox.
multiple
No.
checkbox.
You might have used that. See, if I write Hindi and I press enter, it becomes chips. Chips, you know?
Yes.
Let me show you chips. See, these are kind of interview question they will ask. Why you will use auto-complete or multi-select over here, no? What is chip? They don't have. Okay. Image. It's not a text box. Something else is there. Chips or sort. Inside text box we need. Import type text. In material, we have something like that. Once we type and press enter, a chip will be created in your text box. Anyone have tried that?
No,
Once you
sir.
write and press enter, a chip will be created of this. Again, you start typing. Means whatever the behavior you see in the chip now, same thing will work in your text box. We have a reusable component for that.
What it will create? It will create. I don't know what it.
Just to make your UI proper. See, what user will do normally now, if you don't have chip, he will write Hindi space English, or someone will write Hindi
And here we
comma
need to.
English.
Okay, after entering
Right?
Hindi.
What we see, if we keep it a free text box, someone will add comma, someone will do the space, or someone will add this also. If he's a developer, he will add this also. But what I need a strict way that user should be providing like this only. So once I type Hindi, once I enter, my chip will be created just like this.
Sir, actually, if a limited language,
Limited data is there, right?
you can say user, then how to use in this case?
Limited means no. First of all, you understood what not in every application they will be using this, but in our project we had a reusable component for that. Once user press enter, we will create a chip and we create a means that whatever the UI you see now over here, this UI we create in our directive and we append it to the text box. That's the behavior we are. But I think in material we have that ready-made available. We created our reusable component for it, but in a reusable directive for it. But in material, I think in PrimeNG also I have seen sometime. I don't know like in which control.
I didn't understand the terms of chips.
Chips are like this. See, this is one. Consider this as a text box. If I write Hindi and enter, one more chip will be created like this.
Okay, I got it. We found it in Naukri.com when we are saying
Yeah. In Naukri.com also we have it, right? When we add technology, correct?
Correct.
So that I was talking. So in my project, we have a custom directive to create a chip and we append it to wherever the parent element is there. But same thing is there in PrimeNG or material. Somewhere I have seen. Okay, understood? Now let's try to submit and let's check if we get the form value. We didn't write. Okay. Submit.
So how to use
Just a minute. This dot dynamic form dot value. No, why it is undefined? Controls dot what is the field region dot value. In value it is coming, but why this whole form is coming undefined? Okay, here it is coming. Sorry, I written the constant and didn't print it. So see, if you take the form value, you get it everything. Okay, only some field we pass, right? Photo attached true. Checkbox was there, so we got true. And in employment status, we had a drop down, so we got this. In blood group also drop down. So see the previous component, what we had, it was a very long code, right? Now that same code got very shorter and very easily manageable also. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. It didn't specify that validation. Again, we need to ask it. So see, here it has created just the dynamic font. I think we, while giving the prompt, we didn't say add the validation also. So it has not done that. So like this one more thing you will get to know. Again, you will fix it. Again, like that it will process. But if you are a fresher, whatever we have written by using ChatGPT, this you should write. Because while giving interview, at least for now, we are not able to allow that. We don't know, like in future, the machine test and everything might change. They will ask you to use ChatGPT on any AI tool and complete the task anyhow. That day they will identify, because if you don't have the basic knowledge, obviously you cannot communicate with the any AI tool. You need the basic information, what are the basic topics are there, you need it clear, then only you will be able to ask it. Just try it also, just like I have taken this example. Those who have completed basic of Angular, try creating something scenario and try to ask the prompt also. You will find it difficult to get the answer, right answer from the ChatGPT also.
Correct.
Right? Because I have seen this with my freshers in my company, like those who joined, they find it very difficult to get the correct detail. Whole day they will play with Copilot just to write the test cases also. And they, at the end of the day, they will come to us that we are stuck over here. Then with one prompt, we complete that. Then they get the idea, like just completing the basic topic is not enough. You need that programming mindset. Your basic concepts are ready. Then only you will be able to ask it properly. Same thing if it is not ChatGPT. Earlier, people used to come to us like, sir, I'm facing this issue, right? The people who were from my project, I was able to understand because I used to know the project. But people from other project used to also come. But I don't know their project. Unless they specify correctly, like what is their problem, what is their, I was not able to help them. Just like with the ChatGPT also, you need to share a history, like what is your problem statement, what areas you have, what scenarios you need to cover, what is the expected output, what is the required data you will be sending. Then only it can provide you the proper prompt, proper way answer. Correct? So those who are in the learning phase, don't use ChatGPT, Codium, Gitpilot, and or Bolt AI, anything. If you are stuck, you are using it's okay. But from very basic thing, if you are using it now, trust me, you are going to be very in a deep position, and that you will get to know when you are appearing for the interview. Logical questions, any scenario based question, you won't be able to answer because you have not written the code by yourself. Okay.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
Sir, I have seen one in one of the site in government site. Like if you select your city, it will automatically take your default state and country automatically. So, for example, hierarchy we have
Yeah. So
country,
if you select the
then
city
state,
first, no?
and then city. So directly after you clicking on city, it will automatically pick up your state and country. So
Correct.
if we want to do it in select like in drop down section, what exactly we need to consider? Like
Your object will be like that. Let's say your state array. Okay, your state array, what will have? State ID, state name. Okay.
yes,
Then your city array, city ID, state ID, and city name. So once
yes,
you change the city, you have the state name, right? That state ID,
yeah.
you set it to your another form control. So that got selected. Understood?
Yes, sir. I mean, like there are separate, like for example, if we can consider like we have a master sheet with
Hmm.
country name, then
Hmm.
state name, and then city name, like that.
Hmm.
So now in your hierarchy,
Hmm.
country is first level. Second level in state level,
State.
you can add a country as a foreign key, and then
Hmm.
in city you
You have
will
state.
foreign key as a state and country. So
Why you need
that,
country? In city, why you will store again country?
no need, because it is already in
Right.
state, so
State.
we can avoid. So in this case now you have three drop downs
Right.
somewhere. Every drop down is connected directly through its master sheet. Like city will have city ID and city name, uh, state and country as well. Now,
Yep.
if we want to only select city, at how we can like on which event, on like
On
ng.
city change, on
Hmm.
city change, on city drop down change event, you get the state ID, right? That state ID you will assign to your another control mob. If your reactive form control dot state ID, you will assign that state. Okay.
So
On
if we use select like a drop down option, then on select
change event,
change we need to use
change
or
event.
change event.
Yeah. If it is
On select
reactive
change
form, you
event.
can write the form change event also, right?
Okay.
There
Okay.
also you can write. Logic will change, but from city you will get state ID, from state ID you will get country ID. Like that you will go the backward and set the selection.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah, fine. Okay, guys, so let's start. Let's stop. Thanks all for joining. I will share recording tomorrow. First, I will share that NGRX recording tomorrow. We didn't record that yesterday session. I have done the recording. I will share it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I have a question actually.
Hmm.
In the NGRX design pattern, when we are using in the child component, if we click on any of the tab and we need to call an API, get the data, update the store, and display the data. Have you
Yeah, that
did
we
you
will
get a
cover.
chance?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will cover that Friday or tomorrow or Saturday week. Last session we
Okay.
completed a very basic example of counter. Now we will
Okay.
use API. There I can showcase the effect and everything, what we normally do, what you just
Okay.
said.
Okay. If possible, can you add me to that?
Yeah, in the group only I will share.
Okay.
Whatever
Okay.
from
Yeah.
where you got this notification.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
fine. Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.